Alrighty, guys. Well, we're back for another very exciting episode of the top 100 board games of all time. This is number 30, down to number 21. And going along with us for the whole ride, Mr. Phoenixknight. How are you doing tonight?
Tired as you can probably imagine. It's been a crazy weekend, especially in my 2001 season replay, which we were talking about in the green room earlier.
You've had some monster games.
Good Lord.
And it's not just one. It's like several back to back to back now. It's getting crazy. Just wait until you get into the playoffs, and you got to do that every single game. Oh my God,
No,
you're really
the one thing I'm not going to have to worry about in the playoffs is having to run the ticker tape after every game.
that does help. That does help. That absolutely helps. And I've got a couple suggestions for you for next time you run a baseball sim. I just started using the Action PC baseball game where you can do your manual entry and
Yep.
stuff, and it'll auto play the other games for you. So that would be good.
Well,
I
actually,
know we've talked about in the past, I've led you down this path towards replay baseball. Now, it does cost $25 a season, and you have to make sure they have the season you want to play. And so, there's some conflict because they don't have all the seasons and everything. But if they do have the season you play, in my opinion, Replay Baseball PC program is the best in the world.
well, I might try that if the season is available in replay baseball. But like we've talked about before, the price of the $25 per season bothers me. The limited season availability bothers me. And I actually played around with the Action PC baseball on the manual entry when I did my 2001 demo game, but it was giving me problems with I had a situation where I had to play at the plate. The runner was out, but Action PC kept overwriting it, saying that the runner was actually safe at the plate. And I finally just said, all right, screw this. I'm not using Action PC for the demo game anymore. And I went back to Digital Diamond when the replay proper started.
Okay. But I mean, there's choices out there. I know, as I talked about when I was running my payoff pitch this weekend, a baseball season, there is so many baseball games, and you got to sim every single one of them yourself. So that is a undaunting task on top of an undaunting task. So you're giving yourself double the work.
Well, what's helping me with the ticker is I keep everything in Excel, and I've got formulas set up to tell me, okay, here's who actually won the game, and then I've got count formulas and the standings to help me keep that straight. So I've got everything streamlined pretty well.
The other thing that's very exciting about this is Payoff Pitch is actually coming out, releasing a digital edition. I don't know right now if it's going to come with a built-in AI that sims the games or anything like that. I don't know at this point if it will because it's still in like alpha, but that might be something to look at as well.
That's only going to be available for payoff pitch seasons, I would presume, though. So I think there's still a lot of questions around that as well. I'll have to wait and get my hands on that later.
Just more to kind of think about. Maybe next time you'll have a few more options to give you a break. And like you said, if you buckle down and get one of the replay seasons that actually they have and play that season, then maybe using that program. I love that program. I use it for everything I do. I use it for,
Yeah.
and I bought probably 15 or so seasons of it. But I mean, that's $25 a pop. So it's like $400 or $500 I spent just in seasons. So yes, it's can start adding up to be quite expensive, as you said. So,
Yeah.
anyways, lots of great stuff. I am feeling much better now. Yes, I had a whole weekend. We actually went out to dinner, went out to lunch yesterday, and I've been feeling much better this weekend, getting my energy back, getting my spunk back, getting things done, doing some videos on the channel. So, yeah, we're going to get right into it. We're going to review what we did last week. If you missed the show last week, Then we're going to get right into this week's show. And again, as the higher we go on our list, the more we have to say about these games. So we're going to try and keep it to about an hour this time. So we'll see if we can just keep things moving forward. So my number, let's make sure I get the right ones. My number 40 last time was Runebound.
And I'm looking at ordering that one, whether through somebody off the Geek or Noble Knight. And it's looking like it's going to be Noble Knight. But anyway, my number 40.
I will say I do own the first edition and the second edition. I know we talked about what edition to get. If you're interested in the first edition, and I know we're going to be making a trade here later this year anyways, you might want to hold off on that.
Yeah, I'll keep looking into things on that. My number 40 was Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle by USAopoly.
My number 39 was Hex Explored, The Forest of Ardaman.
My number 39 was Aeon's End Legacy by Indie Boards and Cards.
My number 38 was Turing Machine.
My number 38 was Role Player by Thunderworks Games.
My number 37 was Terraforming Mars.
My number 37 was Nemo's War.
My number 36 was Dune Imperium.
Mine was Ark Nova.
My number 35 was The Bloody Inn.
Slay the Spire over here.
34 was The Lord of the Rings, The Adventure Book Game.
34 was History Maker Baseball.
Number 33 was Spirit Island.
33 was Fall Classic Baseball, which was a crossover.
My number 32 was Undaunted Stalingrad.
Mine was the subject of my 2001 season replay, Payoff Pitch Baseball.
And my number 31 was Vantage.
My number 31 took center stage for the 1985 season last year in Season Ticket Baseball.
4 baseball sims back to back to back. Wow. What's the chances? Like, that's a 1 in a million. I predict that never won't happen ever again, but we'll see. Who knows? We're going to have quite a few crossovers this week. And in fact, I believe I start. Am I starting or are you
you're starting?
I'm starting. Okay. I believe my number 30, if it is not on your list, I am a purple mushroom. That's how close, that is how for sure I am. Oh, I do need to share my screen. Let me get that set up as well. Hang on just a moment. I am guaranteeing that this game is going to be on your list because I know how much you love it. It is, of course, Arkham Horror, the card game. I know you love this game, and I appreciate the game and all of the adventures and the stories and the managing of the characters and, you know, being able to do a little deck building and all that. For me, though, it's just I don't like bag building things, and you got the whenever you take damage or whenever you're doing a check, you got to draw a thing out of a bag. And so for me, it's a little finicky. I still think it's a great game. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, it's my number 30 game of all time, but it's just not as high up the list for me as it is for you. I know we've played it a couple times online together. I've played it online. There's a ton. How many seasons are there now? 11 or something?
At least that, probably.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of season files you can get. So there's a ton of content for the game, tons of characters to play, tons of variety and stuff. And it's a really good one. And like I said, I'm positive we're going to talk about this game sometime in a few weeks.
Well, the one thing I'll say, kind of playing a little bit of devil's advocate as far as why you might not like this game, is there is so much content out there, and it's definitely a commitment to go through a campaign with it.
I do feel this is one of the things. I do feel like I'm way behind the 8 ball. And when I look at like, oh, if I wanted to get into this, I'd have to buy this and this. And you don't have to buy anything, but I'm a completionist. So like, I have to buy all the season files, and I'm so far behind. I'm just not. I'm done. Yeah.
Well, the one thing that is helpful with Arkham Horror, the card game, is now everything is self-contained in the investigator and the campaign expansions.
That
So
is absolutely without that the core box, the two core boxes. I would not even have tried to mess with it, to be honest.
yeah,
And I started rebuying all the Lord of the Rings stuff as well, so that's even a double the price of everything.
yeah. Anyway, my number 30 game is actually the only new game in this section of the list, and I don't have a lot of new games coming up in the rest of my list. This one is is very much a puzzly game. I initially fought with it at first, but once I really started to dig into it a little bit more, I actually really enjoyed what it's doing and the frenetic pace it's got. This is Bullet Heart and Bullet Star by Level 99 Games. So this one you've actually got several different bags of bullets that you're pulling out, and there's a lot of strategy in arranging them and arranging the patterns that you get, so you make sure you get some of your action points back and attack the other enemies. Admittedly, this is one I would never pull out with a group in a group setting, just because it gets way too chaotic way too fast. I know that would drive me completely nuts. But there are several different heroines. Of course, the first few times I played it, I pulled out heroines that were very difficult to manage. But I still enjoy this one. My number 30, Bullet Heart and Bullet Star.
Yeah, I think the box comes with like 8 different characters, and they both are villains and heroes at the same time. So you can put them up against one another. And the solo mode is awesome. I love the solo mode. We'll probably talk about this one again down the line. I have a feeling. Great game. My number 29 bestest game of all time. It was number 145 last year. Just never really saw the light of day. And I said in 2025, I really want to play this system again and find out what it can do. And I got the first edition and played through a bunch of the first edition. I played through, got the second edition because the second edition has an app you can play which will help you run the game. The game I'm talking about is Descent Journeys in the Dark. So I'm leaving this as Descent first edition and second edition. We'll just look at the second edition stuff, but in my eyes, they're very similar in how they do things. There's advantages in one system over the other system, and that, like I said, there's an app. If you're playing solo, there's an app that'll help you play through the game and through the adventures and all that. So you can actually play through a nice solo campaign. This is obviously a dungeon delving game and tons of different characters, tons of different expansions you can get, but every one of the expansions is like $150 to $250, so they're very expensive. They're out of print, so that's another kind of knock against it. I ended up getting 2 of the core boxes from the first edition and 2 of the core boxes from the second edition, very cheap. It's all the expansions that cost like an arm and a leg, but each of the characters plays different, has special abilities, and you're basically doing it in dungeon dive with 4 characters. And that's the one downside. I really like the game. I really like the system. I really like the characters. I like the story, and I like how the game is done. The one downside for me, and I don't think this game will ever go up much higher on my list, because you have to run 4 characters. Again, the app will help you and keep track of things, but it only does so much. You still have to keep track of 4 characters, so which is a lot to ask for a solo player. My number 29 is Descent, first and second edition.
This is kind of I would call this a very light crossover, because the reason I'm going to call it a very light crossover is there's another game that's very similar to this one. I basically call it Descent in a Star Wars coat of paint, because it was on my list, that being Star Wars Imperial Assault.
Absolutely. It's the exact same game with the new coat of paint on it.
Yeah. So it just depends on which one you want. You have the more dungeon divey one. I've got the space one on here.
Yes.
Probably not one I'm going to grab though, just because even though I'm on a little bit of a dungeon crawl kick, I've got plenty of dungeon crawls at this point. Plus, it's expensive.
Yeah. My experiment again. I played a lot of first edition. I played it 2 or 3 times. I played the second edition a couple times, and I think it's a great game and a great system. It's just so much to manage as a solo player, and it's
Yeah.
just they need a digital adaptation like they did for Gloomhaven, and create like a digital version of it. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
My number 29 game, I think, is the only traditional war game in this section of the list. This one is up 26 spots. And it's from Compass Games, which we both had kind of hit and miss history with Compass Games. But this one is Night Fighter Ace. So in this one, this is a Gregory Smith design. In this one, you're playing a night pilot trying to defend the skies of World War II Germany. Night Fighter Ace Air Defense over Germany. That's the one you want. So in this one, you're playing as a night pilot over Germany, trying to defend from the bombing raids of the Allies. And you flip over combat cards for a lot of your combat resolution. You got several different bases that you could be based at, and combat actually flows fairly quickly. But it's really the heavy narrative aspect. There's that N word again that I keep talking about on my list: narrative, narrative, narrative. That you really dig into telling the story of how your pilot's doing, his experiences in the war, all of that, and the challenges of surviving. Several different planes that you can have in there. My number 29 game, Night Fighter Ace.
Yeah, this is a game I cannot comment on because I actually don't own it and I've never actually played this one. So I don't. I mean, it's not too different from some of the other systems that he's done. I don't believe Gregory Smith, right? Yeah, Gregory Smith. But yeah, I haven't played this one. I've done the daylight one. I haven't
Interceptor
have
Ace.
Intercept Race. Yes, thank you. So I'm assuming Night Fighter Ace is probably very similar, but looks good. Looks like a fun game, and yeah, good one. All right, my number 28. Speaking of war games, is my only war game on this group. It was number 38 last year, so pretty consistent. It's 28 this year, 38 last year, so it's staying pretty regular. And I think this one will probably stay in the 20s to 30s probably for the rest of my life. I usually play this game 5 to 6 times a year. It's my favorite tactical game out there. I love this one. It's by a great company. David Heath has been very kind to me and my channel, and he's done a lot of great stuff for me personally, and just coming on my show and doing the war room stuff and stuff. Of course, we're talking about Lock and Load Tactical. There might be a higher rated tactical level game, but for me, my opinion is Lock and Load is the best tactical game out there because of the amount of content there is for it, the quality of the components, the rule booklet is easy to learn. It is a complexity of what's the complexity rating on this one? Weight is 3.4, which is I don't like that rating, but for me, I would say that if you're rating this 1 to 10, complexity is like a 5 or 6. There is some complexity to the game, but it is definitely manageable. Obviously, we're talking about a hex encounter game with lots of different units and tactical combat with your units and great components. Again, in my eyes, it's the best system out there. It's not my highest rated one, but for me, it's the best, most consistent system that I get out and play every year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And I really like this one. There's Normandy, there's Vietnam, there's East Front, West Front, Mediterranean, Japanese, Pacific, whatever you want. There's a module that you can buy and play through. And The system is so open ended. There's even modern day combat with it, and Lock and Load Tactical. I just never see leaving my list ever.
I've looked off and on at getting into Lock and Load Tactical, but I'm just if the price point bothers me because there's a few things I would need to get. I need to get the core rules. I need to get the solo stuff. I need to get a module, obviously. The core, well, maybe some quick reference cards. I don't know. The price point just kind of gives me a little bit of hesitation on getting into this one.
There is a little bit. I will say that of all the companies out there, Lock and Load has been, and David Heath has been one of the greatest ambassadors, and they've released the rule booklet online for free. In fact, David Heath has gone as far as to have someone uh, it, um, create a what's it called, a podcast of the rules, so you can download the podcast and listen to someone read the rules to you, like on your way home from work and stuff, so kind of help you learn the game. So very innovative system. They have they have a new Lock and Load Tactical solo system that they started incorporating in the last year or two, which is making it more and more viable as a solo player to play the game as well. So just keep that in mind. There are obviously advantages and disadvantages in every single game we're talking about. So it just depends on what advantage you like and what disadvantage you don't like.
Right. And I'm not trying to keep dumping on the games, don't get me wrong. It's just kind of some of the thoughts I've been having as I've been looking into them off and on. Anyway, my number 28 is another one that could be considered a pandemic game very easily. And it's actually down 7 spots from 2024 when I last did it. This one is Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Now there are a few different villains in the list, and it's basically built like a pandemic game. Star Wars: The Clone Wars 2022. That's the one you're after.
Here we go.
That one right there. So this one's set in the Clone Wars based on the name of it. This one is basically between what's episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and not Revenge of the Sith. Is that? I think that is movie 3 actually, Revenge of the Sith. So you've got all your worlds in the Clone Wars. You got Mustafar, Kamino, Geonosis, all of those worlds. Again, it's a pandemic game, so you'll pick it up in nothing flat. You've got your troops in the place of your various cities. I think there's 3 or 4 different villains in this game, so you've got a bit of replayability in that way. And the theme definitely comes through in this game. You feel like you're in the Star Wars world, along with your various characters. And my number 28, Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Yeah, another one of these games I can't comment on because I don't own and have not played this one, believe it or not. I've looked at it. It was on my list of getting, a year or two ago, and I just never picked it up. Because kind of like you, I'm like, how many pandemic games do I really need, But this one it is cool and it's different. So that's one of the reasons I looked at it for sure. It looks great. Production quality looks amazing as well. So that's always nice to have a nice looking game on the table as well. So good one. Maybe maybe one of these days I'll pick it up. Who knows? My number 27 is a crossover game. You talked about it last week on your channel. It is. I know you used it to make your use the program, the board game, to create your D&D type characters for some of your online gaming. This is a game called Role Player. Yeah, it's all about building characters and trying to manipulate the dice to the best, to get the best of stats and ratings and stuff like that for your character. You're trying to get a good alignment, or you're trying to get your character to get the most points by having the right alignment and the right colored dice in the certain different spots. And you're also trying to get your background histories. Like, for example, this guy needs a strength between 14 and 15. So you're trying to do all news with the dice management and also get your character outfitted with different cards and weapons and armor and all that. And then at the end of the game, you go and fight the big baddie and try and take him out. There's a ton of extra characters that you can order, a couple expansions which really flesh out the game. I think it's by Thunderworks Games, so it's automatic buy for me, anything that's done by them. But my number 27 is Role Player, which was on your list, I think, last week, right?
It was on my list at number 38.
38, so, yep. Very close rating, yep.
Not going to rehash this too much. What I will do instead is we'll move right into my number 27 game. My number 27 game leaves us in the Star Wars universe, but moves us forward in the timeline a little bit. This one is down 8 spots from the last time I did this countdown, and I'm looking for Star Wars Outer Rim by Fantasy Flight. So in this one, you take on the scoundrels the bounty hunters, basically anybody who would reside in the Outer Rim. And your goal is to become the most famous character in the galaxy, which is actually one of the easiest ways you can control the length of the game. So normally you play to 10 fame, but there's easily ways you can play to 8, 6, or potentially 12 fame while you're managing reputation with the Hutts, the Syndicate, the Empire, and the Rebellion. When the expansion came out, Unfinished Business, it actually added a lot to the game and made the bounty hunters viable solo opponents as well. So the expansion does add a lot to the game. You've got various characters. I see Chewie, Grand Admiral Thrawn, if you're familiar with the extended Star Wars universe. A lot of faces that you'll recognize in the Star Wars world, in both the movie universe and the extended universe. And my number 27, Star Wars Outer Rim. Another one you can't comment on?
No, actually, I can comment on this one. I actually own this game and played it. Unfortunately, it is buried. I haven't seen my copy in probably 3 years. So it didn't make my list just because I would play it if I could get the gosh darn game out, but it's buried way back down on the bottom. I got it. I played it. Then I heard you got to get the Unfinished Business expansion, which I ended up getting. And then I was going to play it again once I got the expansion and put it away, and then bought 500 more games to stack in front of it. So I just can't get to it.
Maybe that should be a challenge for you one of these years, is to play the games that you've buried.
I wish I could. I'm going to. Yeah. My number 26, not 36. My number 26 is a crossover game. Again, it was a game you talked about last episode on Thursday. You talked about this game, and it is currently the baseball sim that you are running on your channel. This is a game called Payoff Pitch Baseball. Look at that. Woohoo! You're going to roll 2d12 to get a result on the pitcher card. It's either going to go tough or patient, in play, wheelhouse, or defensive check. And then from there, you're going to go to the player card and get the result that happens from them. And it plays, strangely enough, like a baseball game. There's a few charts you can use. This has been a classic. It's been around on my channel for many, many, many years. I think I was one of the first people on YouTube to do videos. If you type in IDGest or Payoff Pitch, I've got videos going back 8 years already in this game system. So I think I was like one of the very first to introduce people to Payoff Pitch. It was my number one baseball sim for several years running. And it is one of the best baseball games out there. The cards are, in my opinion, the best baseball cards out there. They're the best baseball cards of any system out there. I love them. My number 26 is Payoff Pitch Baseball.
And you've got your never-ending 2018 Atlanta Braves replay.
That's why I think Payoff Pitch will be on my list probably forever, because every year I do 20 or 30 games of my 2018 baseball season, and just I'm on 89, so we're up to 89 now. So many
True.
baseball games.
Yeah. My number 26 game is actually very stable on my list. My number 26 and 25 games traded spots from when I did this list in 2024. This one is Twilight Imperium that doesn't take all day to play. This one is Twilight Inscription that I'm looking for. This one's a roll and write where you're managing. You've got 4 sheets of dry erase paper. You've got a warfare sheet, an exploration, navigation, and industry. Those are the 4 sheets. So you're basically managing you're basically managing whatever race you're playing as. It's all the races in the Twilight Imperium universe. The one knock I'll have on the game though is the dice are gigantic. They just barely fit in my main dice tower, and that's the only tower that they'll fit through. So you're doing all the same stuff in Twilight Imperium that you would be doing. You're trying to get to Mechatol Rex. You're trying to beat the other players. You've got the agendas to vote on. And it's like I said, it's Twilight Imperium, but it doesn't take all day to play. My number 26 game, Twilight Inscription.
Yeah, we got together and played this online together at one point, and you were kind of doing like a tutorial for me. And this is one of these games I need to play a few more times. I've actually really wanted to play this the other day, and I was like, I don't want to have to relearn some things, and I need Phoenix to hold my hand. Where is he when I need him? So yeah, this is a really good game, really fun. It's really fun.
I bet it's
And
probably
it plays
buried in
great
that mess.
solo as well. So
Yeah, it plays great solo, but I bet it's buried in the mess somewhere.
yeah, I just need to spend a little bit of time with this one. It didn't make my list this year, strange enough.
Not surprising.
But it would probably be in my top 100 if I played it a couple times this year because I love roll and write games. Love them. Absolutely think they're awesome, especially for solo players. And this is a great one. Awesome.
So dig it out and give it a try.
My number 25 is a game that's going to stay in my 20 to 30 range probably for the next 3 or 4 years. In fact, the reason it stays in my 20 to 25 every year is because every year they release a really good expansion for it. And you play through that expansion a couple times and try out the new cards or try out the new characters or whatever. This year, believe it or not, it's on my desktop ready to go with the new expansion. There we go. The new expansion, this time it's all about a new player board and a new dark curse thing that's going on. My number 25 is Lost Ruins of Arnik. Again, the base game is great by itself, but when you start adding in the Lost Expedition and the Leaders expansion, and you add in now the new Twisted, what is this one called? Twisted Paths expansion, you start adding in, you have tons and tons of replayability, tons and tons of new characters, tons and tons of new cards, new temple tracks to go up. Tons of stuff to do. And this year, again, I've already picked up the new expansion, so we'll probably be, and I was going to actually play that this weekend. I didn't get around to doing it, but probably be seeing it come to the channel probably this week. Lost Ruins of Arnik. Great game, great system, a lot of fun. My number 25.
I tried this game a couple times back when I was looking at this and Dune Imperium side by side. I ended up getting rid of this game and keeping Dune Imperium.
Why is it?
I don't know. This one just didn't hit for me. It felt like it was a little bit on the confusing side for me when the couple times I tried to play it. Whereas Dune Imperium, I put that on the table and I was like, okay, this is actually making a lot more sense to me.
I am shocked and awed on that because the one thing that Lost Ruins of Arnik is known for is a great narrative experience. And I know how much you love that word, narrative, narrative, narrative. So I'm shocked and awed that you tried this game and then bounced off it so hard. I know they released a free solo campaign that you can, go through like a little story mode and kind of changes the rules of the game. And it plays a great story. I'm just surprised. Well, sometimes you get the bear, and sometimes the bear gets you, I guess.
Indeed. My number 25 game, like I mentioned, switched places with Twilight Inscription, so it's up one spot from 2024. This is actually a boxing game, and I'm surprised because I'm not a big boxing guy. I really enjoyed this one, and you look like you're thinking really hard about what game.
I can't title about. I couldn't think of the name.
Yeah, that's the one you're going for. Title Bout 2 specifically.
Yeah.
So this one by Straight Jab Media, you've got the boxing action deck that you're flipping through. You got to make sure you're in control of the action. Pretty much anything you could think of in a boxing fight that you'd run into is going to happen here. I've gotten to the point where mostly for the visual for me, I've actually got a little wrestling ring that I set up to help me remember where everything is, where everybody is in the ring, so I can keep track of who's got the advantage, what's all going on, all of that good stuff. So you've got your cuts, your potential knockout chances, counter punches, fouls, all of that fun stuff. The Killer Instinct sequence is also really cool because it's basically a chance to try to finish off the fight in one shot or just do a lot of damage, whatever. So definitely a lot of good boxing flavor in my number 25, Title Bout 2. And this is probably going to be a crossover.
It'll definitely be a crossover. I think this will be our highest rated boxing game. I love Glory Days boxing. It's true, but I think Title Bout is, if I could only have one boxing game, I would have to go with Title Bout. I love this game so much. It's going to be, it's going to be it's going to be a while before we can even talk about it again. All right, my number 24 is my new game. A new game, Jester? Yes, a new game is ranked 24th best game of all time. Oh, thank you. And that's because it is probably my 2025 game of the year. I played this game like 12 times. It was amazing. I love this game. It is a worker placement game, and I think it's a worker placement game that's done right. It's a game called Galactic Cruise. You can play it on Board Game Arena, which is awesome, or you can play it live. It's a game about Euro goodness with trying to build your company up and get customers to get on your spaceships. You have to build your little spaceships. You have to get the resources. Then you send them out on their little trips. It's one thing I would say about this game is it's worker placement, but other people can't block you from going to different locations. You get a bonus if somebody goes to the location your character's on. You have to pull your character back, but you get a nice little bonus. Everything is done like super friendly, super nice, super well designed, super good. You got dual layer boards, which is awesome. There is obviously randomized setup with the different special abilities your characters can get and what you can do. It is definitely a mid to heavyweight Euro game. So if you're not into mid to heavyweight Euros, you probably wouldn't be interested in this one. But if you like medium weight Euro games where you're managing resources, managing your actions, trying to like mid max where you're putting a guy out, which allow you to do this, which give you two things of this, which allow you to get this, which allow you to do this, and you chain your, all your combinations together. You enjoy games like that, then Galactic Cruise is the really good, well designed game. And the art is by Ina Tool, and it's just amazing. Looks great. It's very user friendly. You can see like all of the detailed information. It shows you like if you do this, then this is the result, and this is the reward. This is the bonus you get. Everything is listed very easily on your player board. Really good game, Galactic Cruise. I'm 99.9% sure this is not going to be a crossover.
No, it's not going to be a crossover. And with that musing, we'll jump into my number 24 game, which is about as likely to be a crossover as Galactic Cruise is, which is to say, not. This one is down 9 spots from when I did this one in 2024. It's probably the biggest space game that I own, but not the highest ranked one. This one is Xia, Legends of a Drift System, it's actually XIA, but I always pronounce the X as a Z. And nope, you want Xia Legends of a Drift System, and it is by Far Off Games. That's who it's by. So you've got your various ships. You're flying around space, trying to again become the most famous pilot in the galaxy. But this is a more freeform game, more not freeform, sandbox game, where you can get it through combat, through trade, through just sheer exploration as well. You've got to be aware of your various planets and the status that you're at. If you're an outlaw, there are certain planets you can't go to. And obviously, you want to avoid flying into Xia if at all possible, because you'll just get vaporized and have to respawn. But there's a lot going on in this game. You arm your markers to take your actions, then you roll dice to get how many spaces you can move or what you're wanting to do with that. In my number 24 game, Xia, Legends of a Drift System.
I've looked at it. I've not owned it, so I can't really comment on it other than it looks like a great game, but it looks very expensive as well. I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $150, if I recall correctly.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. My number 23 was number 9 last year. The first year I did I think this is our 5th year we're doing this in a row.
Your 5th year.
I think this is my 5th year that I've been doing this. The first year that I did my top 100 board games of all time, this was my number 1 game of all time. It's dropped down a little bit, which I'll talk about why, but it was number 9 last year. I've been trying to create the world's greatest tutorial series for this game on my channel for several years now. This is Dominion. There are so many cards and so many combinations, so many different. Every card does something differently, and this is just like the core box. Then you add in all the expansions, which add in 20 to 30 new kingdom cards with new powers, new ways to add in things, new ways to play, new event phases, and it's just they were talking online somewhere the combinations that you can get somewhere, like if you took a grain of sand and you put it into the Grand Canyon, you could fill up the Grand Canyon like 27 times with based on how many different options you can get. The number is astronomical. And that's why it was my number 1. The reason it has fallen down from number 1 and down to all the way down to 23, I still love the game. I still think it's great. There is no solo mode, obviously. It is a competitive 2 to 4, 5, 6 player game. And obviously, since I'm mostly a solo player, obviously you can play with an app, or you have the computer play your opponent for you and all that. And there's a greatest app on Steam, and it costs like $150 to $200 once you get all the expansions and everything. But it's well worth it. So if you wanted to play Dominion, you can do that online with the app and play against the computer, or you can play against people. But for me, it's just fallen down just because I don't play it as often because, again, it doesn't have a great solo mode, and I don't like playing against the app because the app is either too easy and I destroy the app, or it's too hard and the AI destroys me. And so I'm just kind of an average player, but it's just a great game, a great deck building, and this was the deck building game. I know I'm crazy, I know it, but I own actually 2 copies, complete copies, including all the expansions in this game, because I want to have, as you can't quite see it, but up here, is all the expansion boxes. Because the first time I went through and bought it, I didn't keep all the expansion boxes and I just tossed the boxes. Then I decided I wanted the expansion boxes so I could have them all lined up. So I have two copies of this game, and we're up to 15 expansions. I know I'm crazy. Go ahead, tell me I'm crazy.
You're crazy.
I know. That's why I don't have any room in my room.
Yeah. I don't have any comments on Dominion because obviously I don't own it and I've never played it. What I have played though,
Wait a minute. You've never played it?
I have never played Dominion.
Oh, we're gonna have to play it this year then. Just at least you gotta play it just to try it and see. Okay.
Anyway, what I have played is my number 23 game, which is up 12 spots from the last time I did this list. Initially, I was kind of hesitant about the theme for this one, but the theme's starting to grow on me a little bit more. This is Marvel Champions, the card game by Fantasy Flight. So I kind of touched on this briefly with Sentinels of the Multiverse, where I kind of like this one a little bit better than Sentinels, just because to me there's more customization in this game, where Sentinels of the Multiverse is very much a what you see is what you get game with your heroes. But this one, there's a lot more customization, where if you want to, where Peter Parker, for instance, Spider-Man comes with I want to say it's protection build, but I wouldn't swear to it. Yeah, anyway, where I'm going with it is you can easily take that aspect out and throw something else in. If you want to play him as an aggression deck, go for it. You want to play Captain Marvel as Justice, for example, have at it. But there's so much customization you can do, not just with the heroes either, but even with the villains. Like say Rhino has somehow gotten hold of the Infinity Gauntlet. There's a lot more storytelling you can do with this game in terms of not just how you build the heroes, but how you build the villains and the threats that you're going with them for as well. And mechanically, it's very interesting. You've got your heroes that are trying to thwart schemes, defeat the enemies, all of that fun stuff. So there's just a lot of customization in whatever story you want to tell. In my number 23 game, Marvel Champions, the card game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a crossover. I would have thought this would have been maybe a little bit higher up your list, but yeah, I mean, 23 is pretty high, to be honest, but great game, great system, that's for sure. Tons of characters to play, but obviously you got to purchase every character is like $15, so and it can start adding up. And like you, I own all of it, so it's a pretty good chunk to get into. But if you do have the funds to keep up on it and purchase all the characters and everything, you've got a ton of options to build decks if you like deck building. All right, my number 22 is 3 different names for the same game. The game I'm talking about, I'll just go right there. It's Pay Dirt Baseball. Pay Dirt Football is the name of it. Then it was re-released as Sports Illustrated Pro Football, and then finally a few years ago was re-implemented as Data-Driven Football. They're all basically the same system where you're going to be rolling these very weird 6-sided dice. They're weighted very weird, and you're going to get a number from 100 to 39, from 10 to 39, and each number in that group has got a different percentage chance of it happening. There are 4 different run offensive plays, 5 different pass plays, and again, you're just rolling on both the offensive and the defensive charts, and sometimes you're going to cross-reference. Sometimes the defensive chart will override what's on the offensive chart. Sometimes they'll add to it. Sometimes it'll subtract from it. This is a great picture. You can kind of see, like, you roll on the offensive chart, get the result. You roll on the defensive chart and get a result. Sometimes it's a blank and nothing changes. Sometimes it might, override it into a penalty or whatever. But it's a really good football system. Again, you do need special dice to play it. You need special charts. There's not a lot of like freebies out there. There's a new gentleman doing data-driven football, which is a real implementation of this game, which is awesome, and I really recommend you check it out. You can still order these dice online on eBay. I think they were about $12 or $15. I ordered several sets of them, and I ended up sending one to Phoenixknight because I decided I didn't need 3 sets or 2 sets or whatever. So I figured, send a set to Phoenix, and maybe he could try this game system out. Really cool. It is a full-blown football game, so you're talking 2+ hours to play it. But for me, it's probably my favorite football game out there right now. So Painter / Sports Illustrated / data-driven football, whatever name you want to use.
I'm not going to pass any kind of judgment on this because I have not played it yet.
All right.
What I will pass judgment on, though, is my number 22 game, which is up 5 spots from the last time I did this. This one is set in the Cthulhu mythos, and it's app driven. I'm talking about Mansions of Madness 2nd edition by Fantasy Flight. Now, this is a very thematic and immersive game where you're telling the story again through the app. You've got your various characters. Some of the content's expensive for this one, especially if you want some of the older stuff. But there's a lot of great games, a lot of great story in here, a lot of great scenarios in here. Several expansions, but I think it's finished. So it's actually a unique game where you track your health and sanity by drawing cards for it, and game effects might instruct you to flip those face up and resolve whatever's on the other side, potentially making your problems a lot worse. My number 22 game, Mansions of Madness by Fantasy Flight.
And might I say, if you can buy the Mansions of Madness and the expansions just for the monster tokens, then you can use those monster tokens in your Arkham Horror 2nd edition game. And it looks amazing to have those minis out there as opposed to having little cardboard tokens out. As you can see some of the characters there, which is awesome.
Well, the problem with that is I never really warmed to the minis in Mansions of Madness, except for maybe the character minis. But I didn't think the minis for the monster minis were that high a quality that you could use them.
Okay. Yeah, this is one of these games. I need another one that I played, had a great time. I think I own a copy of this game, but I couldn't even tell you where it is because I haven't seen my copy in 5 years. It's probably without a RAM.
Wouldn't be
probably stuck together in the bottom down there somewhere. I don't know.
One of those games is gonna be the one that kills you.
I was going to invest in it, but then it, like you said, you start getting into these expansions, and it's like, wow, it's expensive, but a great game. Well, the last one on the list, believe it or not, this week, we went through this pretty quickly this week.
Yes, we did.
Is up from number 50 last week, so pretty good job this year. I played it, and again, it's got a lot of plays because you can play it in Board Game Arena, and I have a copy, and they released an expansion this year called Abundance that might tell you what the game is, but if you're not familiar, the core game is called Earth, which is a tableau building game where you're building a 4x4 grid of different fauna, and you're trying to sprout and seed and do all this composting, and you're trying to achieve different goals. I really hammered this game when it first was released because you can see like the cards are beautiful artwork, they're well done, well designed, and then you got your player mat, which looks like they spent like 2 minutes making, like literally no effort whatsoever on this. And it's like they ran out of time and ran out of money to create like player mats and player boards. And I really hammered this game and didn't rate it very well. But the more I play the game is awesome, well designed, well thought out. There's tons of different resources. You're sprouting your trees up, which is going to give you bonuses. You have your little sprouts down here. You have each of your cards has different ability on the bottom. And every round, whoever's turn it is, activates one of their abilities. So if I activate the yellow ability, you start in your top left and you go, left to right, top to bottom, and you activate all your cards that have a yellow ability. So you're constantly doing things even on other people's turns. So it makes it a great cooperative. It's not a cooperative. It's a great interactive experience because you're doing things while anyone's playing the game. Has a pretty decent solo mode. If you can get over some of the quirky, again, some of the production quality in this game was a little off. These little cylinder things, sometimes they don't line up right, which makes your piece fall off the top. You have the player mats that look like they're from 1960. But there is also really, really well done cards and really, really looks nice. So I've kind of gotten over the bad stuff and appreciate the game for itself, and that's why it keeps inching its way up. When I originally came out, it was like in my 90s, then it went to the 50s last year, and now it's up to the 21. So more I play it, the more I forgive it for being ugly in some aspects. Earth.
I tried this one once and I never warmed up to it. Maybe I just don't go for tableau builders.
I could understand that.
My number 21 game, already the last one for the show tonight, is actually down 5 spots from the last time we did this. This is another game that I can use for a backstory for tabletop role-playing games. This one is Call to Adventure, the Stormlight Archive. So this one has a different solo mode than base Call to Adventure, where you're actually gearing up to fight a tyrant. It's all the same. It's a lot of the same flavor with Call to Adventure, where you've got the runes that you're reading, you've got your adventures that you're going on, you've got to manage your corruption balance. And I was going to say there's a loose campaign mode, but no, that's actually Epic Origins. That's got the campaign mode to it. So a lot of the same familiar stuff. You got your leveling. Like I said, you're gearing up toward an actual boss that you're going through. And even the boss can work into the backstory as well. In my number 21, Call to Adventure, the Stormlight Archive.
And that's based on the Stormlight Archives books, right?
Which I have not read.
Okay. By Brandon Sanderson, I think. Isn't it by Brandon Sanderson?
Yeah, it's right? By Brandon Sanderson. The one thing I've heard about those books is that they're very, very long.
There are extremely long. I own book 1 on audiobook, and it's over 54 hours to listen to book 1.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're like that thick. Good luck trying to read it. Good Lord. And like, it makes me fall asleep on the way home just trying to listen to this damn thing. But yeah, I can. Stormlight Archives, part of the Call to Adventure universe, and I think it's a great addition, to be honest. So let's go ahead, since we've got just a minute here, let's talk about, in case somebody is just joining us or skipped ahead, let's go over what we did tonight. My number 30 was up 6 spots from number 36, Arkham Horror, the card game.
My number 30 was new to the list and the only one in this section, Bullet Heart and Bullet Star.
My number 29 was a combination Descent Journey to the Dark first and second edition, up from 145 last year.
My number 29 was up 26 spots, the biggest mover of the list, Night Fighter Ace by Compass Games.
My number 28 was up 10 spots from number 38. Lock and Load Tactical probably will never leave the 20s or 30s in my lifetime.
My number 28 was Star Wars The Clone Wars by Z-Man Games in the pandemic world.
My number 27 is a crossover game with Phoenixknight. It is a game called Role Player.
My number 27 is Star Wars Outer Rim by Fantasy Flight.
Another crossover game is 26, and the current baseball sim of choice on his channel, Payoff Pitch Baseball.
My number 26 is Twilight Inscription, also by Fantasy Flight.
My number 25 is the Lost Ruins of Arnak, which will probably be coming with the new expansion sometime this week. We were going to try and get it done this weekend. Didn't quite make it to the table, but I'm hoping to get it done sometime soon for you guys. Lost Ruins of Arnak, number 25.
My number 25 is Title Bout 2 by Straight Jab Media.
My number 24 is a new game. Yes, new, and it's still 24. It's my 2025 Game of the Year, Galactic Cruise.
My number 24 is a space exploration game, Zaya, Legends of a Drift System.
My number 23, Oh, How the Mighty Have Fallen. My previous number 1 of all time, which was number 9 last year, is dropped down to number 23. It is Dominion.
My number 23 is Marvel Champions, the card game by Fantasy Flight, and we'll probably be hearing about that again in the next couple of episodes.
My number 22 is a combination Payoff Pitch, Sports Illustrated, data-driven football. They're all the same game, just different names when they were produced. So Payoff, Pay Dirt, Sports Illustrated, or data-driven football is the combination that we're going for.
My number 22 is Mansions of Madness by Fantasy Flight.
And my number 21 is up from number 50. If you can get over the terrible production of the game, it's still a beautiful looking one. It is All About Earth.
My number 21, down 5 spots from 2024, Call to Adventure, The Stormlight Archive.
Well, you know what they say, Phoenix? And then there was 2. That means there's 2 more episodes. Thursday, Sunday, and we're done. Which I think is amazing since we started this. I was like, oh my God, 10 episodes. It's going to take forever to get done. And now 2 times. Well, 1 more week and we're done.
Indeed.
And of course, as we get down farther down the list, we get to the better and better and better games, the bestest games. Next week will be 20 down to 11, and the next Sunday will be 10 down to number 1. I will also mention on Thursday, this next episode will be starting about 8:05 to 8:10, somewhere in that range. Just a few minutes, as I will be on Cardboard Commander's channel doing his podcast with him that evening from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. We'll flip over as soon as we're done with that, start up the live stream. Probably within 5 or 10 minutes of 8 o'clock, we should be ready to rock and roll.
Well, as usual, I will sit tight and wait for the link to come through.
So the schedule this week, what do we got coming up?
We've got a lot of great stuff coming up. Tomorrow night, we are headed to Olympic Stadium in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, to continue the 2001 season replay and payoff pitch baseball as the Atlanta Braves are playing the Montreal Expos. Wednesday, we'll have another block of that replay. This will be the last Wednesday I'll have to reschedule content because of this top 100 board games of all time countdown. So after this Wednesday, we'll be back to varied Wednesday content. Saturday, Mystical Munchies will continue Out of the Cooking with Deadpool cookbook as we're making the side Boxing Day bread. Next week, Keith Avalon's probably going to send a hit squad after me because I'm going to be doing some very evil things to Bolorama by Play Games.
Ooh, sounds interesting. Like to hear that. I'll be sending him an email this week to tell him to check it out. I think he's already, I think you become president of the Play.com fan club. I think.
No, I think there's probably people who are more into play games because there's several games I play that I'm just not interested in.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But you do like quite a few of them, though. You
I
do
do
like
like
quite
quite
a
a few
few
of
of
them.
them. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for another exciting episode. Hopefully, if there's any games on the list that interest you, leave a comment down below. And we will see you about a little bit after 8 o'clock on Thursday. And then, of course, next Sunday's the big celebration. We're going to be dressing up in tuxedos for that. We're going to have a big party and have a grand Super Bowl. And tonight actually is the Super Bowl. So this is our Super Bowl. We should have scheduled it so our Super Bowl was on their Super Bowl. Damn, we missed it by a week, but that's all right. We'll do better next time. What can I say? Thanks everyone for joining me this week. Of course, go to Phoenix Knight's channel. Be sure to subscribe, watch his videos, give him likes, and leave comments on his videos as well. I would appreciate it very much. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next